Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Lieberman, you work for the Competitive Enterprise Institute, CEI, right? You have to audibly answer.
Yes.
Okay. And CEI's website, we went onto the website, it says, CEI has been instrumental in fighting decades of climate alarmism. That's what it says, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in a paper that you wrote, you said, quote, global warming is clearly not a crisis, right?
Sounds like me.
That sounds like you. Yeah, because it is you. Let me tell you what some other folks around here say. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski said, climate change is real, it is happening, it is now. You don't dispute she said that, right?
No.
Senator Lindsey Graham said in a panel moderated by CNBC that, quote, climate change is real. You don't dispute that he said that either, right?
No.
And even the Pope, Leo, from Chicago, has said it's time to move from words to action. You don't dispute he said that.
Same as the last pope.
Mr. Lieberman, with members of both parties increasingly in agreement, worsening disasters, we had a grapes of wrath dust storm in Chicago just this past weekend. And even the head of the Catholic Church sounding the alarm, your position and CEI's position sound increasingly fringe. Let me turn to the next topic. Dr. McBride, on May 8th, NBC News reported that on a phone call with Speaker Johnson, President Trump suggested raising the tax rate for those making $2.5 million or more. You don't dispute that NBC reported this, right?
No, I don't.
And just this morning, and by the way, there is no tax increase in the reconciliation bill, correct? On people earning more than $2.5 million.
That's correct.
Okay. And just this morning, this is what Donald Trump told the GOP conference. He tells the House GOP conference not to F around with Medicaid. You don't dispute he said that, do you?
Well, that's news to me, but I believe you.
And Dr. G, there are cuts of hundreds of billions of dollars in the reconciliation bill to Medicaid, correct?
That is correct. This is a reverse Robin Hood bill that will give tax cuts to the rich, while cutting over $600 billion from Medicaid and $300 billion from
I think they are violating, the House GOP conference is violating, I think, what Donald Trump is trying to convey in this headline. Look, the CBO estimates that the debt of this bill will total at least $4 trillion. Isn't that what the CBO has scored, Dr. G?
That's correct. It will add $1 trillion to the debt, and even more if temporary provisions in the bill for tax breaks.
And at the same time that Republicans are adding trillions in debt, Moody's, the major credit rating agency, downgraded America's credit rating, citing the deficit. You don't dispute that, Dr. McBride, do you?
No, I don't. That's correct.
And this is the first time all three major credit rating agencies have downgraded America's debt, correct?
That's correct.
So instead of taxing the wealthiest among us, as Donald Trump has suggested, and contrary to his suggestion not to F around with Medicaid, which he just said this morning to the House GOP, the House Republicans are instead slashing Medicaid, slashing SNAP, adding trillions to debt, and in the process, hurting America's credit. Let me turn to another topic. Dr. G, just to reiterate, Republicans are planning to cut at least $625 billion from Medicaid. The level of cuts will be absolutely devastating to the healthcare system. In fact, let me just show you a map of rural hospitals throughout the country that will be at immediate risk of closure. As you can see in Illinois, there are 8 rural hospitals that will be immediately at risk of closure. And Mr. Grothman, in Wisconsin, there are 5 hospitals that are at immediate risk of closure, and Mr. Burleson, there are 9 in Missouri. Now, when rural hospitals close because of these massive cuts to Medicaid, Dr. G, those closures will lead to layoffs, correct?
That's correct. Loss of healthcare jobs, as well as other jobs in communities.
And when those hospitals close, not only will people with Medicaid be denied access to medical care, but people with private insurance as well as Medicare will also be denied care, correct?
That is correct.
And so we'll be creating medical deserts throughout the country, right?
That's correct.
Thank
The
you,
people
and
will
I
have to travel further to emergency rooms or to deliver babies or be seen for trauma.
Thank you, and I yield back.